No one in the NBA has ever seen what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing right now with this young squad that they are building that they can keep for the next 10 years. With the amount of draft picks that they've built up, with the amount of young potential that they've drafted, watching our guys ball out in the summer league with some steals in the draft with AJ Mitchell at the 38th overall pick, and then also Dylan Jones with the 26th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, along with some other young guys that are already turning into stars on the NBA roster. We're going to talk about this all on Thunder Digest. Before we get into this, though, I just want to take a moment and say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel already. We're about to hit 1.5K subs here on Thunder Digest. Would have never imagined this was possible without you guys supporting the channel. Like I've mentioned before, you guys aren't fans here. You guys are family, part of this Thunder community, Thunder family here. I just got to say, if you guys find yourself enjoying the content and you usually stick around for the whole video, 79% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, even though you guys are coming back and watching all the time. So like I said, if you guys enjoy it, it would mean the world to me if you guys subscribe. You don't have to, not pressuring, but if you enjoyed the content, it would mean the world to me and be the best way to support the channel. With that out of the way, we can go in and talk about it. Talk about these guys that are, quite frankly, balling out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, we have guys that are just dominating in the Summer League right now. Guys that are about to play in the Olympics. Now, we had Shai, who had an off game last night. We're not going to talk about that on here. We're talking about our younger guys. Even though he's only 25, 26 years old, we're going to talk about all our guys that are around like 23 years old that we can have locked down for a while, especially with some of their extensions that they can get. And some of these guys not even being max players down the line. That could be, but in the time that we'd have them, they probably wouldn't be, all right? They probably wouldn't be. And so we're going to talk about those guys a little bit today because this is something you don't see in the NBA. The way the Thunder have built this team, the way they've built that they'll have success for the next 10 years realistically, is insane. You don't see guys doing this, building up all these draft picks that we have. 15 first rounders and like 17 second rounders. I think it's down to like 12 now after we traded a few away to the Knicks in the 2024 NBA draft. And so it's definitely something interesting to look at, showing like, okay, they can draft. And we also have a chance for a lottery pick next year with the Clippers, as it is an unprotected pick from them next draft. And so that's definitely something interesting to look at. But talking about some of our guys that have been just dominating, we'll talk about the Summer League first off, all right? This is like the best way I can describe it. We hit almost every single time in the draft. Now, there are times when we don't necessarily get a good guy that helps us out a ton. One of them was a guy like Poku, who never really like panned out in the NBA, who was just cut by the Hornets. So like that's an example of one. But then there are also some guys that do work out, that do play well. Trey Mann has potential. Micic has potential. Guys like that. J-Dub's doing well. Chet's doing really well. Along those lines, J. Will, he's doing all right. Good bench player. Cason Wallace. Then you look at these guys. Ousmane Dieng, who's going in his third year, who's been a little bit of a project for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He had a decent night last night. 17 points, 7 of 20 from the field, 3 of 10 from behind the three-point line. Not the greatest. So his like, shooting numbers weren't the greatest. But overall, not a bad night with 4 rebounds and 6 assists and 4 blocks. Keep in mind. Now, he did have 6 turnovers. Not the greatest. But there were positives, but there are also, negatives to look at. But the positives are he's scoring, he's playing aggressive, he's not slowing down, all right? He's actually playing quite aggressive now. And he has open threes, so might as well take them. They just weren't falling down. So I can't be mad at you if you're taking open threes for that. Then you have guys like Dylan Jones, who had an off night, only 7 points, 2 of 11 from the field. But he did have a great night the game before. I think he had 21 points, only missed 1 shot the entire game. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I mean, I can't be mad at that. 4 turnovers, all right? He's putting up numbers along those lines that are helping out the team. It's just shooting-wise wasn't there. And then you have A.J. Mitchell, who if he keeps this up, he will, come down as a steal to draft and get actual NBA minutes. If he keeps up this level of play, it can actually, sustain it in the NBA when he gets his chance to kind of shine. All right, look at it. 21 minutes of play. He went 7 of 9 from the field. Okay, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, not really any defensive stats, 2 turnovers, 21 points. He's been balling out. I saw a stat that is per 36 minutes right now. He would be averaging 22 points a game in the Summer League right now. Insane. All right, he's been balling out. He's been playing really well. We have some other guys that have been a part of the Thunder for a little bit also playing well. Adam Flagler is one with 11 points there, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, with 3 rebounds as well and a steal. So, he's doing well. You also have guys like Keontae Johnson, who's not really doing as well. 20 minutes of play. He's not taking a lot of shots there. Got to the free throw line quite a bit with 7 points there. But as you can see from those stat lines, the young guys that we have there, Dylan Jones, AJ Mitchell, Ousmane Dieng, even Adam Flagler, if you want to throw him in there as well with those other guys, they've been playing well. Those are the guys that can extend our championship window if they keep up this level of play. Ousmane Dieng has shown a ton of potential. If he can just keep on being aggressive and not slow down and actually use his size, he can be a great piece for the Thunder. Dylan Jones, he can get rotation minutes this season. Probably like 8 minutes a game would be my guess if he does. But he can and, develop a little bit. AJ Mitchell, right now, I want him to get actual minutes in the NBA. However, I think he's going to spend majority of his first season in the G League with the Oklahoma City Blue. But that would be good for him as well and actually see what it's like to be the guy, kind of being this main scoring option, develop his scoring a little bit more. Because he reminds me a lot of Aaron Wiggins right now. The best example I have is like a Batman and Robin situation going on with the two guys. Aaron Wiggins is Batman. He's the one that gets all the credit for saving basketball. And AJ Mitchell is there helping out along the way. All right. If Aaron Wiggins hasn't saved basketball already, AJ Mitchell would be right there saving basketball. And so he reminds me a lot of Aaron Wiggins right there. And that'd be great. Two guys on our team. One that could also potentially start in Aaron Wiggins if we do end up losing someone in the starting lineup down the road. Aaron Wiggins, a guy that's starting, then AJ Mitchell off the bench. Two guys that can do everything at a very efficient and good pace and rate. I'm fine with that. Then you also got to look at the guys that we actually have right now that aren't playing in Summer League, that were eligible to play, that they could have, but yet the Thunder decided not to because they're already good enough to play, all right? The first guy we'll look at, of course, a guy that I think will be an all-star player next year and also has the potential to be all-NBA, Chet Holmgren. 16.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game, 2 blocks per game, half a steal per game, less than 2 turnovers, 2.5 fouls a game. He shot 53% from the field and 37% from behind the three-point line in his rookie season. He's 7'1", 22 years old, so he's still young, all right? He's still really young, and he's like, this is just, this is his floor right here. He hasn't reached his ceiling yet. That's 4 or 5 years down the line when he reaches his ceiling, when he can average like 25, 26 a game. All right, I think he can average 22 next year. I truly do. With Isaiah Hardenstein to open up the floor for him a little bit more, I think he can. 32% on corner threes, 97% of his threes are assisted, and 36% of all his shots are three-pointers. And like I said, looking at these stats here, with what we've added onto the team, it would not surprise me if he can make an All-NBA team with the stats he can put up. I think he can put up 22 a game next season. I truly think that with how much more spacing we're going to have on the floor that allows him to work and be more of an on-ball playmaker. I think he can be an All-NBA player, definitely an All-Star next year. I would lock that in right now. He is an All-Star next year. I can guarantee that one right there. Next guy on the list, JayUp, who also has All-Star potential. All-NBA, maybe he has to upgrade, get a little bit better defensively, in my opinion, if he wants to be an All-NBA player. But he can definitely be an All-Star next year. The Thunder could have 3 All-Stars on their team, and Dub, SGA, and Chet. This is a guy right here. 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, half a block, a steal a game, less than 2 turnovers, 2.5 fouls per game, 54% from the field, and 42% from behind the three-point line. That is good efficiency right there. That is good shooting splits, all right? He was almost a 50, 40, 90 shooter. 6'5", 23 years old, so he's a little bit smaller. He's more of a small forward, which with our lineup now, he can play his true position at the 3, which can allow him more scoring opportunities at 6'5". He's 52% on corner threes, 74% of his threes are assisted, and 24% of all of his shots are three-pointers. This is a guy that a lot of people are going to forget about that he's on the Thunder, and it's going to be one of those situations where, man, we got our first and second best defenders on SGA and Chet. Who's going to guard Dub? And then it's just clean pick and firm. Like, okay, let me move someone there. Okay, Chet now has a mismatch. He'll get buckets. And then it's like, okay, we have to guard those two now. SGA has a mismatch. He's going to get buckets. It's very rare that you have 3 guys that can defend, solid and actual legit scores on a team. All right, and it's just going to be insane for the Thunder. Now, someone that doesn't get a lot of love that I see that extends this championship window, the last guy here, Cason Wallace. All right. The stats aren't the flashiest that you see there. 7 points a game, 2 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a block a game, a steal per game, less than a turnover a game, less than 2 fouls a game, 49% from the field and 41% from behind the three-point line, almost 42 there. 6'4", 20 years old. He's almost 21. Shoots 47% on corner threes. 96% of his threes are assisted, and 52% of all his shots are 3. The reason a lot of people don't talk about this is he's our backup point guard right now. Realistically, he's probably our backup point guard or like a shooting guard. He reminds me of Dort with his defensive ability. It's just I think he can finish inside a little bit better than Dort. But he's someone that can extend this championship window a little bit longer because he's someone that will have locked down for another 3 years now as well. And I don't think his rookie contract, he's going to get a maximum extension. I think he can make $20 million after his rookie year of how much potential he's shown, which is someone that I think we can keep around a little bit going into our tax, okay? We have legit guys that we can keep around for a little bit, and Dylan Jones, AJ Mitchell, Chet Holmgren, even J. Will as well, Dub, and Cason Wallace, all right, that we can keep a little bit because we can go into the tax for them. And so we're building a squad that we can definitely keep for the long run. And not to mention the amount of draft picks that we have that if someone does have to walk in free agency that we can't keep them. We know we can't. We can just draft someone to come right into their place with the amount of picks that we do have. That's the thing. We've built it up. We're like, okay, yeah. Okay, we don't have enough money to keep him. Go ahead. There's an exact, guy in here in this draft class that can fill that hole that we will be missing. This is why Presti's gotten all these picks, all right? Not just for trade capital. You can definitely use them if you want to go out and get a guy. Use those picks, especially for a draft like next year when you have a really stacked draft class. A lot of people are saying you can use those picks to go get a star in the NBA. However, he has all these picks now where he's like, okay, if we do have to let someone walk, that's fine. We can go ahead and draft someone that can come in their spot this season or the next, all right? We're fine. We can live without them because we can immediately replace them. This is why no one's ever seen anything like this in the NBA. It's never happened. You've never seen a team be able to set themselves up for this long of success for the next 10 years, realistically. Just being honest here. For the next 10 years, this Thunder team will be playoff contenders. All right, they will constantly make the playoffs as a 4 seed or higher in the Western Conference and compete for a title because of the way that they've built up success. They're a young team. They can keep their main trio of SGA, Dub, and Chet for the long term and just fill them in with young role players using their veteran leadership now in Chet, Dub, and SGA. Those young role players coming in, boom, just as a supporting cast. All right, it's great. What the Thunder have built, it's great, and this is why they'll win a championship, if not next season, in 2026, all right? They'll win one in the next 2 years. They will, because of how they built this team. How, it's just the long run that they have here. They've looked at the long game. The rebuild took 2 years, all right? And with all the draft picks that they have now, if they do lose someone, everyone's like, oh, you can't keep this team because it's going to get expensive. Okay, that's fine. We have these draft picks to come in and take their place. That's okay. That's okay. All right, this is why you've never seen this in the NBA. But this is all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think personally. If keeping these draft picks to kind of replace these guys that may have to walk in free agency is a good idea, or if we should look to packaging them in a trade for someone to win now instead of expanding this championship window a little bit longer. Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.